Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories. And if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. Now, today's first story was a suggestion on our own subreddit from X-Raider V1, who said they got a crazy in-law story that they found with a new update as well. The story's from the Am I the Arsehole Here subreddit from Comparison Adept 9322 and says, Am I the arsehole here for not allowing my in-laws to see my daughter after they gave her medication? It starts off, I know how the title sounds, but please bear with me. Throw away for obvious reasons. I, 24 male, and my wife, 24, recently had our daughter in July. She is the best thing to ever happen to my wife and I, and we couldn't be more thrilled to have our little bundle of joy. She recently got sick while staying with her grandparents, my in-laws, while my wife and I took a trip for work. For context, my in-laws are really big into LifeWave/X39. It's some patch that supposedly helps regrow stem cells by reflecting light rays back into your body, allowing your body to produce more stem cells to fight off diseases and sickness. If you ask me, it sounds like snake oil, and my wife agrees, calling it a pyramid scheme. The only way to get said patches is by spending well over $1,000, and then you are tasked with selling the patches yourself. It's essentially some multi-level marketing product, where the more patches you sell, the more money you make, falling right in line with my wife's comparison to a pyramid scheme. But MLMs are somehow legal. Now, I've tried doing research on X39 and the only comments I've seen praise said product are brand new accounts never used before or after, or their entire profile is dedicated to shilling out for LifeWave/X39. In my own research, they appear to just be overpriced stickers. They contain no medication, no special UV rays or anything of the sort. They're literally just an overpriced sticker with an air bubble. But my wife and I have made it very clear that we wanted no part in X39, nor did we want our daughter to have it. Even if it's fake, we wanted no part in it, and on the off chance it did something, I didn't want our daughter to be used as their lab rat or guinea pig. Now, before we left our daughter with my in-laws, we provided them with some infant medication, just in case she got sick. They'll never be too safe, you know. Well, we returned home from the work trip early because our daughter wasn't getting any better. So we picked her up and went home. We were going to give her a bath, and in the process of taking her jacket off, we found an X39 patch on her arm. Upon finding it, we immediately called her parents and demanded to know why she had a patch on her. Her parents tried saying, it's safe for a baby. We even ordered the ones for ages 7 and younger, and that it's practically medication. Their words. Which still didn't answer our question. So my wife checked the go bag, and the Motrin we gave them was, while it was used, not used very much at all. Her parents tried claiming that someone else in their group or whatever gave it to their son and they got better in a week. Point is, we didn't buy it, nor did we care. We made it abundantly clear that we wanted nothing to do with X39 and we didn't want our daughter to be a part of it. They failed to listen. My wife was on the phone with them for over an hour, and while I don't know the exact length the conversation went to, I know it at least ended with her screaming, going to see my fucking daughter again, and if you attempt to come to my house, we will call the police, before hanging up. That was 3 days ago now. We've had several missed calls from family members, her parents, her siblings, and even family friends all saying that we overreacted and they were just trying to help. Maybe we overreacted, but we wanted nothing to do with that. And despite making it clear, they went against our wishes and did it anyways. And instead of giving my daughter actual medication, they tried to give her some placebo patch. Her parents tried claiming that we are stopping them from seeing their only grandchild over something so small, but we didn't want to hear it. Am I the arsehole? Simple, not the arsehole in this situation. You told them the way to take care of your daughter if she's not feeling well. They went against that and gave them something that you knew nothing about. And I don't really know what this patch thing is. And was there the possibility of creating some sort of allergic reaction? I know I'm just throwing stuff out there at the moment, But it comes down to trust. You trusted them to look after your child in the way that you requested. They went against that. How do you trust them going forward when they're willing to do something like that? And they talk to someone in this group, the group of people who I guess are going to be shilling the same stuff. I remember when I was on Facebook a couple of years back, and there was someone I knew who would be a part of one of these makeup MLMs, and they obviously got pulled into the MLM's marketing and believed that they were empowering people, was spamming all their friends and family daily. And, people just started muting that person because it's such bullshit. But Beneficial Breath says not the arsehole. They will never see your child without supervision again. The problem is not the patch itself. While it's still totally BS, the problem is that your daughter was sick. Rather than following your instruction on how to take care of her, they chose their own BS method. They're rejecting your parental authority unfairly, breaking your trust, and are now surprised there is consequences. They are the same kind of grandparent that told us of nut allergies but still gave peanut butter to their grandchild because it's not that serious, and then got all surprised Pikachu face when parents need to go to ER because of allergy reaction after the visit. Kat says, I disagree with downgrading this to is probably just a sticker. My daughter is allergic to the adhesive in bandages. A freaking band-aid gives my kids skin rashes. Maybe the patch is a placebo. Maybe it has some weird plant from the rainforest. Maybe it's a colored sticker that can cause an allergic reaction. You don't know, and the infant isn't the person to test this out on. Not the arsehole. Aquatic Stoner says, the fact that they don't see at all what they did wrong and insist it was helpful shows they will absolutely do it again, and just put forth an effort to hide it next time. I'd personally go no contact for this. Jesus. They're willing to put MLM scheme products in or on her is just an immediate no-go. And the lack of remorse. Not the arsehole. When it rains it pours says not the arsehole, and quotes, her parents tried claiming that someone else in their group or whatever gave it to their son and they got better in a week. And then says a week. That sounds like the kid got better on his own due to his immune system fighting back, not their magic snake oil patches. Quotes again saying her parents tried claiming that we were stopping them from seeing their only grandchild over something so small. Then says it's not something small though. They have illustrated that they can't be trusted to listen to the instructions you give for watching your daughter because they think they know better. Your wife argued with them for an hour before losing her shit and cutting contact. That tells me that her mum wasn't apologizing and probably doubling down on why she thought it was okay. One more comment from Flounder Solid who says not the arsehole. This one is up to you. You have two options and either is totally okay. 1. Cut them off or at least don't let them be alone with your daughter. 2. If you want to maintain your relationship / your daughter's relationship with your in-laws, lay out very clear boundaries that they are to only use medications exactly as you prescribe, for her or as suggested by a doctor, who does not recommend the weird patch thing. Do you think this is something they would do again? If not, you may want to maintain the relationship, if only for your daughter's benefit. And if they would do it again, then you know your daughter is likely not safe with them. So OP comes in with their first update and says, about a month ago I made this post ranting about my in-laws' weird obsession with a, for lack of a better term, cult regarding stem cell regeneration through patches, which clearly isn't a real thing. There's been some development on that end, and while I'm confident things will likely end here, I wanted to give a quick update for those who may have been curious. I'm writing this on the toilet at work, so don't mind the rushiness of it all. After my wife essentially cut ties with them and we all received a million phone calls and text messages from family and friends, things quietened down for about a week or two. We started having my sister watch our daughter instead when we had to work. We haven't had another out-of-town trip since the initial post, however. Through those couple of weeks, we never really heard anything beyond a couple of supposed shit-talking posts on Facebook bitching about us, but I can't seem to find the posts. We thought things were probably, hopefully, going to end there, but boy, we were wrong, and this is quite the jump from the last post. My wife and I were visited by CPS about 2 weeks ago or so, after they received concerning calls about supposed child abuse and negligence within the household. Of course, nothing like that happened, and the caseworker was very quick to see that. We had asked who reported her, and while she couldn't say, we had a suspicion it was from her parents. We were completely helpful and cooperative with the caseworker, and after she left that night, My wife called her mum and asked her if she's the one who called CPS. Surprisingly, her mother took full accountability, but not so surprisingly, tried to spin it around in her favour, claiming that she did it for our own good, because our daughter was sick and she wasn't getting any better when she was there, so clearly we were doing something awful as parents. Kids get sick, it happens, but they're also extreme anti-vaxxers, not just COVID. I mean everything, from even as something as trivial as the flu shot. Yet they're willing to shit out thousands of dollars for some supposed stem cell regeneration sticker. The fucking hypocrisy and irony in their bullshit is unmatched. My wife didn't really know how to react to that, so she basically told her mum to go fuck herself, and she wants nothing to do with her again. I know I saw a few comments on the last post saying maybe we shouldn't have cut them out entirely, but now I'm starting to question why we didn't cut them out years ago, before our daughter was even a thought in our heads. About a week after the first audit, my mother-in-law showed up to our house on my day off while my wife was at work and essentially demanded to see our daughter, forcing our way into our home by pushing past my arm. When I told her to get the hell out of my house, she had no business marching in here like that. She essentially told me that I'm unfit to be a parent because I'm depriving my daughter of the help she desperately needed, because she's clearly a very sick child. My daughter is perfectly healthy right now and in fact had no sniffy nose and no high temperature. Nothing. I told my mother-in-law straight up that she was batshit insane. I went off on her about how she lied to us, went against our wishes, had the audacity to call and lie to CPS, and then show up at our house unannounced and uninvited and march herself inside, as well as everything about her X39 LifeWave bullshit. We argued there for a while before I finally got so fed up, I told her to leave my house before I called the police. She stormed out of the house and in true Karen fashion said, "This isn't over," before slamming my door. I immediately called my wife, who was of course irate. The following morning we filed a restraining order at the courthouse from her mum and dad because they're clearly not in the right mindset. The caseworker had to audit us a few more times as per their guidelines over the past 2 weeks. And yesterday was her last day where she informed us that we're doing good and she's so sorry for the trouble they caused. We kept up to speed on the LifeWave shit and the showing up unannounced in the restraining order. And though she couldn't take a side, she seemed apologetic. But my wife and I are pretty livid. We started looking at houses in another state to get as far away from her in-laws as possible. Our company has offices out there, so it's entirely possible we could just be transferred. So we're crossing our fingers that all goes well. The restraining order gets filed soon enough and we get a place clear across the country so that this will hopefully be my last update. It's not. But before we do go on to that next update, we've had stories before where family members call CPS on one another, like when nothing's actually happened, falsely doing it, and then just expecting everything to carry on as normal after that. Like you just called CPS to say my child's in danger and you expect to walk in and still have a normal relationship. That's just some, like OB said, some batshit wild thinking right there, isn't it? And I hate the fact when OPs in these stories have to be like chased out of their home to move somewhere else to escape these people, but I can't blame them at the same time for just wanting to get away from them. I mean, the level of crazy mother-in-law is already shown in this one story. Who knows what else she's going to do? It doesn't sound like she would actually stop. But anyway, OP came in with their update and says, "Hello everyone, thank you for being so supportive. I've read some of the comments, though not all. Far too many, and I know some of you have asked for updates. And so I wanted to give everyone an update for those who's still interested. Things aren't going to be as juicy in this post as the last two, but some new things have happened, so I'll just jump right in. After my in-laws called CPS on us for no discernible reasons, other than we forbid them from seeing our daughter, things mostly quietened down. Some of you suggested that we should do more than just get a restraining order, so we bought some security cameras and had them installed all around our property, and our neighbours, who are pretty good friends of ours, was in the loop for the most part, and anytime we had to go somewhere, not only did we have video cameras recording every time someone entered our driveway, displayed directly on our phones, our neighbours kept us updated too. She stopped coming around for the first few months since she called CPS on us. But just the month before last, as we're preparing to move, My in-laws somehow got word we planned on moving states and attempted to block our driveway as her dad tried blocking the front door. Not sure what their plan was there because we have a back door and an extra side door leading from the kitchen, but I digress. Her mum blocked the driveway, stopping our U-Haul or car from leaving the property and wouldn't budge. Even after we told them we would call the police, they told us they'd move if we told them where we were moving to. But my wife told them that wasn't happening and they had 10 minutes to leave or would be calling the police. My neighbour came over during the commotion, but my in-laws still wouldn't budge. My daughter is crying during all of this as my wife is trying to console her, as my neighbour and I are attempting to remove my father-in-law from the doorway, but he wouldn't move. Even my wife called the police, and I'm guessing another neighbour called them as well because they responded within mere minutes. My in-laws kept screaming that we are taking their rightful grandchild away, and that we'd all be damned to burn in hell for this. But honestly, that just made me laugh. The police kept asking them to leave, but they wouldn't. Eventually, they were arrested for refusing to leave, and the police were nice enough to call a tow truck for us to be able to back out of the driveway. Lo and behold, as the police were handcuffing my in-laws, they both had on those X39 patches, and even the police questioned them about it. But whatever. What's done is done. We were able to finally leave onto the new adventures. We've been settled in our new house for the better part of over a month, and we're enjoying it greatly. No word from her in-laws, and they have no idea where we are. We have them blocked, but we'll eventually get messages from unknown numbers or Facebook accounts asking where we moved. But there's no way they are that foolish to believe we'll actually tell them. Luckily, neither my last state or this one have any grandparents' rights, so we're in the clear there. Thank you, everyone. Hopefully, this is my last update. Now, the level of insane we've seen in that post with the escalating updates, CPS, blocking your driveway from trying to stop you moving. I mean, again, I'm not sure what they was expecting out of this. They've already destroyed the relationship. There's no way recovering from what they've already done, yet they think blocking your door, blocking your driveway is going to fix anything. Wild in itself. And I don't know if there's a way, but I'm just throwing this out there because it's so easy to track people these days. I mean, all it takes is a Google search, pretty much. Especially if they got the details that they have on you. They got like everything pretty much. Is there a way of like hiding your name on the house, etc., so you can't be tracked down that way? Because again, the behavior they've shown here, it doesn't feel like they would stop at just that. And there was a comment that was pretty similar from No Supermarket 7410 who said, make sure you go on free sites that allow people to look up like Smart Background Check, Family Tree Now, and True People Search, to name a few, and request to have your information removed. I've done this before due to a crazy ex. I changed my number and they got it off one of those sites since the only people who had my new number was my family and work. You will want to do that because it does have address, phone numbers, possible employer, and emails. Ellie Bailey says, truly wild story, but I'm relieved to hear you've managed to shake the tree a bit. Still, it's wise to remember that the roots of madness can run deep. Double check all your social media privacy settings and keep an ear to the ground. You never know which relative might turn mole for the cause of craziness. Here's hoping your new chapter is filled with peace and privacy. Stay vigilant and best of luck. Caroline says, that's some next level persistence from your in-laws. It's like you're living in a bizarre spy novel, except the antagonists are clad in pyramid scheme merch instead of trench coats. Document everything, keep an eye out for unfamiliar faces in the neighborhood, and consider taking up a new hobby, like a weekly book club at your local library, to help keep a low profile. Wishing you peace and quiet in your new fortress of solitude. And lots of people were suggesting give them fake information or set up a Facebook account and post pictures of like a place states away so they're having to travel all that way out and, you know, just to wind them up. But, you know, I think for me, just cutting them off, keeping a low profile as much as possible, and hopefully moving on from this is the best course of action. I think, you know, if you poke these people, they're going to continue to escalate their behavior further. They might do it anyway because they just seem like that type of people. But wow, what do you guys make of this situation? I know it's super dramatic for OP with that U-Haul and being blocked in and, you know, the parents blocking the door. Can you imagine being a neighbor on that street and seeing that shit go down? Reminds me of being back in where I used to live. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being involved. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.